But if we really want to solve the problem, if our society really wanted to solve the problem, we could. It's just it would require everybody saying this is important, this is significant. And that we don't just pay attention to these communities when a CVS burns. And we don't just pay attention when a young man gets shot or has his spine snapped. We're paying attention all the time because we consider those kids our kids and we think they're important and they shouldn't be living in poverty and violence.
I see. And whose fault would that be? The Republicans, perhaps? Joining us now is Ramesh Ponnuru, columnist, Bloomberg View, senior editor at National Review, American Enterprise Institute scholar. Ramesh, always great to talk to you, sir. Great piece at BloombergView.com, Obama's absurd response to Baltimore.
Thank you. I just thought it was an amazing set of comments that the president made last week for a lot of different reasons. And one of them is just, it's just absurd to maintain that we all know how to lift everybody out of poverty and give peace and prosperity to everybody, but some of us just don't care enough about our fellow citizens to do that. And that is almost literally what he was saying. Right.
And you know, I think that the number that's been bandied about by those who have done the research is about $23 trillion towards anti-poverty programs since the 60s. And to say and to insinuate, as he just about came out and said, the Republicans don't want to do it, that we need more money, you know, as if everything would work if we just have more money. It's never worked. It's never going to work. Things have to change radically.
Right. I mean, the president talked about federal job training programs as one of his 2 or 3 examples of things that we would do. Well, federal job training programs have a terrible track record. I mean, there are many government accountability studies over the years where few of them are ever evaluated. When they are evaluated, they don't have great results. And the idea that that is what separates us from, happiness descending into every troubled community across the country is just ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous. Today he spoke about one of his initiatives, the Big Brother initiative, and he talked about one of the headlines that came out of there was, police are throwing too many black men on the ground. I mean, look, nobody. Why didn't the president say, hey, you know what's happened in Baltimore since we've all paid attention to it? 12 shootings, 6 murders. Hey, you know how many shootings there were in New York 2 weekends ago? 20. How about Chicago? Why doesn't he address the root and the real problem, which is blacks killing blacks in these cities?
Well, there are a lot of root problems, and I don't deny that there may be cases where we need to change the way our criminal justice system works or the way our police worked. But we also have to, of course, as I think you're suggesting here, respect the very important role that the police play and that the criminal justice system plays in protecting all of us from violence. But the key thing, I think, is just the absence of modesty in the president himself personally, of course, but also in his political philosophy. He just isn't willing to say, look, we're not exactly sure what is to be done. We should try this and try that. And I welcome other people's ideas too. Instead, it's, we all know what we should do. It's my program. If you don't get with my program, it's because you don't care about people.
Right.
He wants to leap directly into the political blame.
Yeah, no, you couldn't be more on target. That's absolutely true. What did you think when you heard the state's attorney in Baltimore come out and give what turned out to be like a campaign speech? Because her campaign theme was, it's our time. And at the end, she said, youth of Baltimore, I hear you. It's your time. It's our time. I mean, forget that it was a campaign speech or her slogan. I think it was as inappropriate as a state's attorney could be. But to find out subsequently that was, her campaign slogan. I mean, my gosh, she's raising expectations in this city, and it just ain't going to happen in the courts that way.
If she's got the evidence to back up her charges, and she secures convictions against most of them, most of those charges are, in fact, realized, then I think it looks one way. If that doesn't happen, I think it's going to look very different. It's going to look as though she sacrificed getting the job done for getting the job done fast. and that she was trying to play to the crowd at the expense of playing to the jury. But that, I think, really just remains to be seen. I think she could come out of this looking quite good. It just depends on how strong a case she actually has.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I think most people, most legal people who have looked at it, can't fathom second-degree murder in any case. And once you put that out there to the community, and if that case gets dismissed or it doesn't happen, and they get people on misdemeanors, then it's not going to be a happy scene this summer or whenever that trial takes place.
Well, I've seen too many man-on-the-street interviews where people are suggesting that the test of justice is getting all of these convictions, and that can't be
right.
the way we look at it. That's not the way our justice system works.
No, absolutely. Any thoughts on the two new entries into the Republican field, Carly Fiorina and Ben Carson? Of course, tomorrow, Mike Huckabee to follow.
You know, both of them are impressive people. I tend to think that Republicans especially want people who have significant political experience and have actually run for office before and succeeded. And of course, Carly Fiorina couldn't get elected in California even in a pretty good Republican year, and Ben Carson's never even tried to run for anything. So I would say that they are real long-shot candidates. Mike Huckabee's a different story.
Right.
He has been elected, but he has not shown much of an ability yet to reach beyond his evangelical base. You can't win the nomination, and you certainly can't win the presidency unless you appeal to a broad range of different kinds of people.
Ramesh, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you. The panel's next, folks. Don't go away.